To bed here pretty soon. I'm staying up kind of late because the wind is blowing. It's garbage day. And I gotta set the garbage out, so I'm waiting for the winds to ease up a little bit. Set the garbage can out, open the windows, and go to sleep. But they're still a little feisty. I think they're supposed to go down around midnight or so. So we'll keep an ear out for them. It's annoying. It's very annoying. Doppler Dave on the news said, that he talked to 70 and 80-year-old people, and they said they've never seen the winds like this. Well, no, these are like Dust Bowl-like conditions, because we've never had this big of a population and a destruction of the ecosystem through in industrialization in this region ever before. So, yeah, naturally, it's going to be catastrophically, like a Dune movie kind of crap shit, because these people are insane. Now, when they did their COVID thing and they parked all our cars and bars and stuff for about 6 months or so, they were able to do a study on the planet and be able to see how radically and rapidly the planet can recover from irrational, disgusting human behavior. So I'm certain of that. Those are things that I can assess. It's not safe to assume anything, but you can assess things. It is safe to assess things. And so when you're sitting there looking at things, and I was looking at some of the things that they were showing me online, I watched that little bit of that Nova thing. I couldn't do that. I can't, I have problems sitting down and watching egotistical expression for long periods of times. It makes me very mentally, emotionally, and physically uncomfortable. And when you have people, talking about how brilliant and earth changing and all the stuff they are, and they're still engaged in economic manipulation and conflict, you're like, no, first, eliminate all economic manipulation and conflict, and then start looking at what you're doing, understanding quantum physics and understanding. You're not decoding the universe. You're observing, analyzing, and processing. And when you do it in a humble manner, you understand things more intelligently, and then you do things more intelligently. And so it's very disturbing to watch, and it's safe to assess that these people are psychologically, mentally, and emotionally disturbed and are having trouble correcting themselves. And then they showed me another video on there with this young man from Spain who is going into what's perceived as Social Security, which is basically make-believe money to establish security for people as they get older in our society, which is absolute clinical insanity. And then we have this man, Elon Musk, who's supposed to be one of the most intelligent people in the world, doing this research to say, these people were so corrupt, they were paying millions of dollars to people that have been dead for 100 or 200 years because of corrupt collection of Social Security money. Okay. It's like, yeah, but money's not real. Okay. The Lord's Prayer is. Okay. You forgive debt and trespass, you love one another, attain a faithful peace. You understand natural law, you observe natural laws, you understand them, and then you engage in. So I'm sitting there watching this. I went to talk to my dad, and I was like, Dad, it's safe to assess that these people are broken and they are quite insane. And there is no rhyme or reason or logic to their madness. Okay, this is genocidal and it's insane. And you can't sit there and put people into conditions and not even attempt to try to engage one another intelligently. You can't put truth up for a vote. Okay, it can't be put up for debate. When you're looking at this, Jesus' time and Muhammad's time, when they were asking people to prove religion, if you go look at the documentation in the Quran and the interaction between Muhammad and other people, and the same with the documentation with the public conversations with Jesus, okay, that are allegedly written down. That no, you have to prove it, Jesus. This is very important because, like in John Calvin's time, if you teach the Gospels wrong, then you send people to hell, which was magical thinking, and they obviously couldn't assess intelligently what Jesus or Muhammad were saying, and apparently that's still happening to this day, even with quantum physicists and astrophysicists and neuroscientists and neurobiologists and so forth. And so apparently these people are symbiotic to the people that were abusive to Galileo and Jesus and Muhammad and others throughout time. And the same people that betrayed and poisoned and killed, I think it was Siddhartha, and I know that Pascal was poisoned and killed, and Sun Yat-sen, and so forth. And Bob Marley and Haile Selassie. And so you're going to have to understand that a lot of people don't comprehend what they are thinking and talking about and doing. They're, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And life is eternal and grace is infinite. So they think, well, Jesus is egotistical. He just have a conversation with himself. It's like, well, technically, yeah, you would. And then you'd want the person who's the spirit of yourself and the eternal spirit of a faithful Father in all sequences in time to be able to be forgiving of people and realize that they are quite insane and that he has to deal with them in a very sane and rational manner in order for people to live peaceful lives and have faith in God, right? And so, as I'm watching this stuff with the Kimmel show after the news to watch the weather report, watching all this sensationalized propaganda. And it's not reporting. It's not reporting. You can't really call it reporting. Reporting would be like, here's what we all need to get together and do to restore our ecosystem and live truthfully and faithfully. That would be reporting the news. Okay. This is sensationalized genocidal propaganda. And that's safe to assess. Okay. And that these people are definitely broken, and a lot of their labels that they apply to people about the sociopaths and psychotics and schizophrenics and stuff like that apply to a large percentage of them. And they have their delusions of power and authority and manipulation affects the large populace in a very devastating way. Okay, and that's safe to assess also. And then they make jokes about this dysfunction and people are being mass murdered over manipulation with money and technology, and they think this stuff is funny. And it's just particularly disturbing. And you have, a lot of people that will sit there and talk about, what was it? I was watching one of their videos and, it was the Sydney thing with the alter ego of the AI and stuff. And they were, how evil and sinister this is. It's like, guys, there is no necessary evil. Okay? And selfishness, it always has what's perceived as sinister because it's quite delusional. It's trapping the glory of the soul inside the brain. And it's crazy and it's sick. Okay. But as far as sinister goes, it can be easily corrected by just correcting artificial intelligence and have it reflect actual intelligence. So don't be so scary. You want your cornbread? Yeah. And so the upper room, which doesn't exist, right? That's all magical thinking. And that kind of magical thinking is unhealthy and dangerous. I'm looking at DVDs to buy to pass my time. I do like the songs and the stuff on the Charlie Chan, but the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan, but I don't think I'll have the money with the two controllers that I get to relax and I play football and basketball on the Xbox 360 until the technology gets rid of these people that are doing this incessive, destructive, disturbed and disturbing propaganda on TV. And it's going to have to stop. It's safe to assess it's going to have to stop. It's going to stop itself with the technology sooner or later. And it's also safe to assess that the person who's in the documentation of all the stories and all the reasons, that is correct. Okay. And I'm more than fairly certain because of all the documentation and what's happened to me in my life that it's me. And that I'm the focal point of correctness. and that people trust me in the past, and people that are worthy of trust in the present, and people in the future that get to live the freedom of the Lord's Prayer obviously trust me. But these people, Chuck Swimmer, Ted Cruz, Elon Musk, these people allegedly reporting the news, participating in the propaganda because they're addicted to it, they need a savior, obviously. Okay, and so yeah, a lot of the documentation, the way people perceive it and discuss it, makes a lot of sense. Now that's safe to assess, right? So I'm gonna load this one up, and we'll talk tomorrow. And love you very much, and I understand what the word love means. So if you want to be loved, you should understand how much Earl does love you. All right, peace.